Welcome back, everyone, and thank you again for tuning in. In today's video, I would like to focus on a few of the important forms pertaining to the ICT work permit application and highlight the common mistakes that we repeatedly see in applications that we review on a regular basis. Now, this is not a long video, but it's filled with content that will surely help you if you are trying to put an application together on your own. So please pay attention. Now, like I always say, please do watch till the end so you don't miss out on any of the important points that I am discussing in this video. And please do consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new content on Canadian immigration on a weekly basis. So let's jump right in. The first form that I'd like to talk about is Form 1295. Now, this is the main form that is used for any kind of work permit application if you are outside of Canada. So for an ICT work permit, we will be using this form as well. Now, it's a fairly straightforward form, so I'm not going to go through this line by line. The information being asked is quite simple. Now, when you do get to the section that talks about details of intended work in Canada in page 3, which is right here, especially when it comes to an ICT work visa, where it asks, what type of work permit are you applying for? You will need to pick the first one, which is exemption from labor market impact assessment. Anything else you pick from this list will be considered wrong and your application will get rejected. Now, for sure, if you have a spouse that is applying with you for an open work permit, then you would pick open work permit in a separate application that you will be doing for your spouse. Another common mistake where people make is the LMI exempt offer of employment number that you get from the employer, which you enter right here, okay? Now it's highlighted that way is because I had put open work permit. Now, when you put exemption of labor market impact assessment, this area becomes available for you to enter the number that you get from your employer. Now, the most common error is getting the number wrong from the employer. Now, I don't mean there is a typo in the number, you got the number mixed up or anything. The number itself is wrong because the employer did not complete their part accurately in the employer portal. So be absolutely sure that the employer is completing the information for an ICT work permit, which is GATS intra-company transfer, and not an IEC, which is International Experience Canada, or anything else that is on that list, which is not relevant to this application. Now, moving on to talking about answering questions on your background. If you answer no to all of these questions, then a Schedule 1 for IMM 5257 is not required. So many people spend hours and hours going through their extensive travel history to complete the Schedule 1 when it's not needed at all. Now, it is an optional form. So if you don't have an insane travel history, just a few places in the past 5 years, then go ahead and complete the Schedule 1 if you wish, okay? Now for the important part. Now, in this form, if all the information has been fully completed, you simply need to validate the form. You do not need to print and sign. So that's about it for IMM 1295. I think it was fairly straightforward. Now let's jump to talking about IMM 1294, which is an application for a study permit made outside of Canada. Now, you may wonder why I'm talking about a study permit application when we are talking about an ICT work permit. Well, most of our clients come here with the whole family. So any child under 18 years of age needs a study permit, but they do not need a letter of acceptance from a designated institution here. Okay, if the child is over 18, then a letter of acceptance is required for the study permit application. So there is a scenario if the child is over 18 and if the letter of acceptance is not there and the child is traveling with one or both parents to Canada, then a visitor visa can be applied for this child. IMM 1294 also, as you can see, needs no signatures. It just needs to be validated. So now let's move on to talking about IMM 5645. This is the family information form, which needs to be completed by the main applicant and all the members of the family included in the application, who are 18 years or older. So if your child is under 18 years of age, forget about this form. They don't need to complete it. Now, when the child is over 18 and under 22, and I say under 22 is because that really is the age limit for a dependent child to be included along with the rest of the family. So if they are completing this form, that is they're over 18 and they're under 22, sometimes they miss signing in note 1. Now, what is note 1? Note 1 is if that child has no spouse or common law partner, and if there is nothing that's listed in this section, then they need to sign here and date here. That's a big mistake. If that is not done, again, it'll cause delays in the application if this is not done accurately. Again, in section B, if that child who's over 18 and under 22 has no children, this place will be left empty. And if this place is left empty, this needs to be signed and dated as well. And at the end of the form, this form needs to be printed and signed. So this place needs to be signed and dated by that child and by every family member that's included in the application over 18 years of age, like I said before. Now, let's quickly touch upon the last form for today's video, which is IMM 5802, which is offer of employment to a foreign national exempt from a labor market impact assessment. Seems pretty clear as to what this form is all about. The only thing is that this form has now been replaced by the employer portal. All the details in this form are asked in the employer portal. So once your employer completes these details in the portal, an LMIA exempt offer of employment number will be given, which the employer needs to share with you to input in IMM 1295, which we talked about earlier today. It's the first form we discussed today. So in essence, this form is no longer needed. Be sure that your employer is picking C12 for the LMI exemption code. What I mean by that is this. You see this? So it says C44 here in this example, but your employer for the ICT work permit needs to put C12 here, okay? And in this drop-down menu, your employer needs to pick GATS intra-company transfers. This was what I was referring to before, but all of this will be done in the employer portal. Pretty much the same drop-down will be there in the employer portal as well. So if your employer picks IEC, like I said, international experience, Canada, and all of that, it would be wrong. And many people wonder why their application is getting rejected. It's probably because the employer did not pick the right one from the drop-down, okay? So that's it for now. That's it for today. Hope this helps clear some confusion about the different forms and how to fill a few key fields. Thank you for listening till the end. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Book a call with us to apply for your ICT work permit. Please visit our website, www.bwimmigration.com.